My son-in-law looked me in the eyes and said, "The best wedding gift you can give us is to disappear from our family." So I did. I walked away without a fight, without tears. But what happened after that changed their lives forever. I still remember the day like it happened yesterday. The air smelled of fresh flowers, expensive perfume, and something else I couldn't explain, maybe pride, maybe distance. Everyone was smiling. Everyone except me. I stood quietly near the corner of the wedding hall, holding a small gift bag in my trembling hands. My palms were sweaty, not from excitement, but from fear. Fear of being unwanted. Fear of being invisible. This was my daughter's wedding. The day I had dreamed of since she was a little girl, running barefoot through our tiny home, laughing without worry. I raised her alone after her father passed away. I worked 2 jobs, skipped meals, and stayed awake through countless nights just to give her a future. And now, here I was, a guest, not family, not important. I watched her walk down the aisle, glowing, beautiful, confident. My heart swelled with pride, but it shattered when I noticed she didn't look at me even once. I tried to smile anyway, because mothers always do. Her husband, my son-in-law, stood tall beside her. He came from a wealthy family. Everything about him screamed power, control, and entitlement. From the moment he entered our lives, I felt it. I was an inconvenience. Still, I stayed quiet. I didn't want to ruin her happiness. After the ceremony, guests laughed, glasses clinked, music played. I stood near the wall, waiting for my moment, maybe a hug, maybe a simple thank you for coming. That moment never came. Instead, he walked toward me. His smile wasn't warm. It was sharp. "Can I talk to you for a moment?" he said politely, but his eyes told another story. We stepped aside. That's when he said it. "The greatest wedding gift you can give us is to disappear from our family." My heart stopped. I thought I misheard him. "I'm sorry," I whispered. He sighed, annoyed. "You make things uncomfortable." You remind her of struggle, of the past. We're starting a new life, clean, modern, successful. It would be better if you stayed away. I felt my chest tighten. "I'm her mother," I said quietly. He shrugged. "And now she's my wife." I looked around, hoping someone heard, hoping someone would stop this moment from breaking me. No one did. I didn't cry. I didn't shout. I didn't beg. I simply nodded. "Okay," I said softly, and I walked away. That night, I returned to my small apartment. I sat on the edge of my bed, still wearing the same clothes. The wedding lights were still glowing in my mind, mocking me. I whispered to myself, "So this is how I disappear." Days passed, then weeks. No calls, no messages, no "Are you okay?" I sold my old furniture, gave away what little I had. I stopped expecting anything from anyone. And that's when something strange happened. Something that would change everything. But that story begins the morning I decided to leave the city forever. The first night after I left, sleep never came. I lay on the thin mattress staring at the cracked ceiling, listening to the sound of cars passing outside, people going somewhere, people who still belonged somewhere. My chest felt heavy, like something important had been taken from me without permission. I kept replaying his words again and again. "The greatest gift you can give us is to disappear." How easily he said it. How calmly he erased me. I had spent my entire life giving love, time, patience, sacrifices no one ever noticed. And now, at the end of it all, I was being asked to give my absence. That night, I cried quietly, not loudly, not dramatically, just silent tears soaking into an old pillow that smelled like loneliness. The days after that felt longer than they should have. I woke up early out of habit, even though there was nowhere to go. I made tea for one, poured it into a cup I didn't need, and sat by the window watching the world move without me. People laughed outside. Children ran past holding balloons. Couples walked hand in hand. And I sat there wondering when I had become invisible. Sometimes I would pick up my phone, type my daughter's name, then delete it before pressing send. What would I even say? "I'm still here. I'm hurting. I miss you." No, I didn't want to beg for space in a life where I clearly no longer belonged. One afternoon, while walking aimlessly, I passed a small community center. A handwritten sign caught my eye. Volunteers needed tea and companionship for seniors. I stood there for a long time, The word companionship hit something deep inside me. I walked in. The room was simple. A few tables, soft music, warm smiles. An elderly woman sat alone, staring at her hands. I sat beside her and said softly, "Would you like some company?" She smiled like I had given her a gift. That was the first time in weeks I felt useful again. I started going there every day, listening to stories, pouring tea, laughing at small jokes, healing in ways I didn't expect. And slowly, something inside me began to stand up again. One evening, as I was about to sleep, my phone buzzed. A message from my daughter. My heart almost stopped. "Mom, I've been thinking a lot. I didn't know how bad things were for you. I'm sorry." I stared at the screen, frozen. Tears blurred the words. Then another message appeared. "He didn't tell me what he said to you. I found out later. I should have protected you." I placed my phone down. I wasn't ready, because healing had taught me something powerful. Forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting the pain. What she didn't know was how many nights I cried alone, how many times I blamed myself, how close I came to believing I was truly worthless. But she also didn't know something else, that in losing everything, I had finally found myself. I had learned how strong silence could be, how peaceful life becomes when you stop chasing love that hurts you. I wasn't angry anymore. I was calm, and calm is powerful. 2 days later, my phone rang. Her name lit up the screen. I answered. "Mom." Her voice cracked. "Can we meet?" I closed my eyes. "Yes," I said softly. "We can. But this time, I wouldn't be begging for a place in her life. This time, she would have to meet me where I stood." When I agreed to meet my daughter, I didn't feel excitement. I felt calm. That surprised me. A few months ago, just seeing her name on my phone would have shattered me. I would have rushed, apologized for things I never did, begged for love like it was charity. But now, something was different. I wasn't desperate anymore. I chose a small cafe near the park. Neutral ground. A place where I wouldn't feel small. I arrived early, sat by the window, and wrapped my hands around a warm cup of tea. I watched families pass by outside, and for the first time, I didn't feel jealous. She looked thinner, older, tired in a way only guilt can create. When she saw me, she froze. Her eyes filled instantly, and I knew she had been carrying this weight for a long time. She walked toward me slowly, like she wasn't sure I'd disappear again. "Mom," she whispered. I stood up. We hugged. It was awkward at first, then tight, then real. She cried. I didn't. Not because I didn't feel, but because I had already cried enough for both of us. We sat down. "I didn't know," she said, staring at the table. "I swear, I didn't know he said those things to you." I listened. I didn't interrupt, because sometimes the most powerful thing a mother can do is let her child speak. "He said you were holding us back," she continued. "That you reminded me of a life we were trying to escape." Those words stung, not because they were cruel, but because part of her believed them. I took a slow breath. "I never wanted to hold you back," I said gently. "I wanted to walk beside you. That's all." She looked up at me, tears spilling. "I should have protected you." "Yes, you should have, but I didn't say it." Because healing isn't about winning arguments. It's about telling the truth without destroying what remains. I left. I told her quietly, not because I was weak, but because I respected myself enough to walk away. She blinked. "I didn't disappear to punish you," I continued. "I disappeared to survive." That's when she truly saw me. Not as her mother, not as someone who would always forgive silently, but as a woman who had limits. I told her about the small room, the quiet nights, the community center, about the strangers who treated me with more kindness than my own family had. I told her about rediscovering myself, how pain stripped me down to the bones and rebuilt me slowly. "You don't know how strong you are until no one is left to save you," I said. She reached across the table and held my hand. "I'm scared," she admitted. "Things aren't good." My heart skipped. "He changed after the wedding," she whispered. "Controlling, dismissive, always making me choose. Choose between what? Between him and me. Between comfort and conscience. Between loyalty and love. He doesn't like that I'm here," she said. "He thinks you're manipulating me." I almost laughed. Manipulation? I had removed myself completely. Silence is not manipulation. It's protection. I won't come back the way I was before, I told her calmly. She looked afraid. What do you mean? I won't live where I'm unwanted. I won't beg for respect. And I won't accept cruelty disguised as boundaries. Her eyes widened. This was new to her. This version of me. That evening, my phone rang. It was him. I stared at the screen for a long moment, then answered. Why are you filling her head with ideas? He snapped. I smiled. I haven't filled her head with anything, I replied calmly. I filled my own life with peace. Silence. You should stay away, he said. No, I answered. You should learn respect. And then I hung up. My hands were shaking, but my heart was steady, because for the first time in my life, I wasn't afraid of losing them. He thought disappearance meant weakness. He didn't understand that when someone who has nothing to lose stops caring about approval, they become unstoppable. Over the next few weeks, my daughter started visiting me alone. She laughed more. She listened more. She questioned things she had once accepted as normal. And slowly, the balance of power shifted. Because when a mother stops sacrificing herself to keep peace, the truth has nowhere left to hide. What comes next is something no one expected, not him, not her, not even me. Because the day he lost control was the day he finally realized I was never the weak one. After weeks of silence and small visits, something shifted in the air. It wasn't loud. It wasn't dramatic. It was subtle, like a quiet storm building beneath the surface, ready to change everything. I had spent months learning how to live without them, how to rebuild myself, and how to accept that sometimes love comes with limits. But they hadn't realized how much I had grown. One morning, my daughter came to see me. Her eyes were full of hesitation, yet something was different this time, a spark, a determination, a longing for truth. Mom, she said softly, can you tell me everything that really happened? I looked at her, really looked, and for the first time, I saw a child of mine, grown and confused, who still needed guidance. So I told her. I recounted the wedding day. I described the words her husband had used, the way they had tried to erase me, the way I had quietly walked away. I told her about the nights I cried alone, the tiny rented room where I had found myself again, and the community center where strangers treated me with more warmth than my own family had shown. Her eyes widened as she listened. I could see the guilt, the shock, and the awakening in her face. You survived all that? She whispered. Yes, I said firmly. I didn't survive by staying small. I survived by learning to stand tall even when no one cheered me on. For the first time, she understood. And with understanding comes change. A few days later, there was a knock at my door. I opened it slowly. There he stood, my son-in-law. His face was tight with anger and disbelief. I came to apologize, he stammered. I studied him quietly, letting him fidget and shift. You're late, I said softly. The apology isn't the part that matters. The respect is. You haven't learned that yet. He swallowed hard. He looked like someone realizing that the rules had changed. He started. I didn't. Save it. I interrupted. You told me to disappear. I did. And while I disappeared, I built a life where I don't need your approval. His eyes flickered. The arrogance was gone, replaced by something that resembled fear. From that moment, everything shifted. My daughter began visiting me more often, secretly at first. She would bring small gifts, a cup of tea, a piece of cake, and sometimes just sit in silence. But her presence brought warmth to my room, a warmth I hadn't felt in months. I began telling her stories of my past, of her childhood, of how I had sacrificed to give her the life she deserved. And she listened, truly listened. The more she listened, the more the truth began to settle in her heart. She saw the injustice, the coldness, the arrogance that had tried to erase me. And slowly, she started standing up, first to me, then to him. It came one afternoon. We were at my apartment talking, laughing quietly, when she said, Mom, he's trying to control me. He's trying to push you away again. I took a deep breath. You need to set boundaries, I said, and you need to understand. He cannot define your relationship with your mother. Not anymore. That evening, he called. His tone was sharp, angry, threatening. You've corrupted her mind, he said. I smiled. A small, calm smile. No, I said. I've reminded her of her heart. And that heart doesn't belong to you to control. The silence that followed was heavy. I could hear the shift in power, the quiet realization that I was no longer powerless. Over the next few weeks, my daughter became stronger, bolder. She spoke up at family events. She corrected him when he overstepped. She finally asked questions she had never dared to ask before. And the more she spoke, the more others noticed. Relatives who had been silent began to side with her. The walls of control he had built began to crumble. I watched quietly, proud but detached. Because this wasn't about me anymore. This was about her reclaiming her life and her ability to choose freely. One evening, she sat beside me, exhausted but smiling. "Mom," she said, "thank you for not begging. Thank you for letting me see the truth." I held her hands. "You had to see it yourself," I said. "Sometimes the lesson is only learned when it's experienced firsthand." And then she said something I'll never forget. "I finally understand what real strength looks like. It's not fighting, it's surviving. And sometimes, it's leaving." I nodded. Yes, leaving had been my ultimate act of strength. By now, he had realized that nothing could manipulate me anymore. The apologies, the threats, even the anger, they didn't touch me. He had tried to erase me. I had disappeared. And in that disappearance, I had gained everything. My peace, my daughter's true love and respect, and my dignity. For the first time, I felt untouchable. Not in arrogance, not in revenge, but in quiet, unshakable strength. Walking away isn't defeat. Walking away is respect. Respect for yourself, respect for your values, respect for the truth. And sometimes walking away is the only way to make the world see your value. If you think walking away is weakness, think again. Subscribe to see the shocking ending where everything they tried to take from me comes back in ways they never expected. The day they came back, I wasn't waiting for them. I was sitting in the same chair I had chosen as my new throne of calm, drinking tea, watching the city lights flicker in my window. Months had passed since the wedding day that tried to erase me. Months since the son-in-law told me to disappear. Months since my daughter had learned the truth of who I really was. And in those months, I had rebuilt everything that mattered: my strength, my dignity, my life. There was a knock at the door. Not timid, not polite, desperate. I didn't rush. I didn't even stand. I simply waited. The door opened. There they were, my daughter, her eyes wide with fear and guilt, and him, my son-in-law, looking small. Not the arrogant man who had commanded attention at the wedding. Not the man who had demanded my disappearance. Just a man realizing the consequences of his actions. "Mom," she whispered, trembling. And then she did something she had never done before. She fell to her knees. "I'm sorry, Mom," she said, voice breaking. "I didn't know. I was blinded. I should have stood up. I should have defended you." I sat quietly, let her words hit the floor, fall between us. He spoke next. His voice was low, almost broken. I didn't realize. I was wrong. I pushed her away. And I pushed you away. I see now. I was cruel. Please, we need you." I looked at both of them, and for the first time, I let a small smile touch my lips. "I walked away once," I said calmly, "and it wasn't because I didn't care. It was because I respected myself enough to leave what hurt me." They stayed silent. "I didn't disappear to punish you. I disappeared to survive," I continued. "And I survived. And now, you need to earn your place back in my life." They stared at me, shocked. They had expected tears, begging, desperation. They had expected me to fold under their guilt. They didn't expect strength. "You have to understand," I said, "this family isn't rebuilt by apologies alone. Respect must be earned. Love must be real. Actions speak louder than words." My daughter nodded slowly. Tears streaked her face. "I understand," she whispered. He looked down. "I will do anything to make this right," he said quietly. I laughed softly. A sound of victory, not cruelty. "Start by listening. Stop controlling. Treat her with the respect she deserves. And maybe, one day, I'll consider letting you both back into my life fully." The first hug wasn't perfect. It was shaky. It was cautious. But it was real. And as we sat together, talking late into the night, I realized something profound. I had been their mother, their guide, and their protector. But I was also my own woman, And now, they had to meet me as I truly was. No compromise, no self-erasure, just the truth. And in that truth, they finally saw me, the woman who had given everything, walked away, survived, and returned stronger. Walking away had taught them the value of respect. Walking away had taught me the value of myself. And in that delicate balance, our family was reborn stronger, wiser, and more authentic than ever. I realized something that night. Sometimes the people you love the most will try to erase you. Sometimes they will demand your disappearance. But strength, real strength, comes from walking away, surviving, and returning on your own terms. And when you do, the world will never see you the same again. If this story inspired you, taught you strength, or reminded you to stand for yourself, subscribe now for more emotional, real-life family stories. Because sometimes surviving is the most powerful story you can tell.